This is CBS 12 News at 11.
Starbucks drive-through deadly shooting.
A trip for coffee at the Starbucks ends in gunfire. How the gunman could be free from charges.
Targeting seniors and their savings.
The very person meant to keep your money safe is cashing out instead.
Draft night.
Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa is smiling ear to ear after tonight's NFL draft. We'll have the Dolphins picks.
The news starts now.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. The system was built to protect the elderly when they've lost the ability to manage their lives and assets. But too often, that safety net becomes a trap. Tonight, the CBS 12 News I-Team takes a look at legal guardianship.
Yeah, Liz, that system has the right to give a court-appointed individual control over every aspect of another person's life. I-Team investigator Danielle Wall has one family's shocking story and a warning for others.
What do we want? Free Britney!
First, it was Free Britney and the documentary about the pop star's controversial conservatorship.
Why is she still in this? Why is her dad making all of her decisions?
Then came the award-winning Netflix film, I Care a Lot.
The court has appointed me to be your legal guardian.
What?
Now there is a growing awareness about guardians, people who make a living managing the life and money of somebody the court deems to be unfit to manage their own affairs.
I'm here to help.
For many families in Florida, guardianships are not just a headline out of Hollywood. They are a dark reality.
They lived in a very nice home and they were happy. And then the authorities came and removed them from their home and the rest went downhill.
He was a World War II veteran. She was a mother of 7. Joan Stanton says her parents, Richard and Betty Weber, were ready to enjoy their golden years. Instead, they lost everything they'd worked for under the control of a court-appointed guardian. The trouble started with a rift among the siblings. Some weren't happy with Joan's management of their parents' affairs. So they went to court, and that's when a Palm Beach County judge appointed a professional guardian to step in.
Did you have any sense of what it meant?
No, I had no idea.
What it meant, she learned, was that a man named Linrod Douglas was given control of all of Richard and Betty's money. For the time he spent paying their bills, taking them to doctor's appointments, running errands, he could charge up to $95 an hour, draining their savings. The guardian controlled who could see the Webers and when, restricting Joan's access to her parents. He also had final say on where they lived. In this case, BP Assisted Living in West Palm Beach.
He begged me to get him out of there. Begged me, and I'm like, Dad, I'm doing everything I can.
Joan suspected abuse at the nursing home and mismanagement of the estate, but the court repeatedly denied her request to end the guardianship.
And there's nothing I could do about it. Nothing.
In 2018, BP Assisted Living was raided and shut down. Its administrators arrested for abusing and neglecting residents. Months later, investigators started to look into Linrod Douglas. Court records show he stole $10,000 from the Webers and hundreds of thousands more from 5 other wards. His arrest came too late to help the Weber family. Under his guardianship, their house was sold and most of their money spent. Richard and Betty died later that same year.
What's the hardest part for you today?
The anger I feel. I don't want to be this angry. You know, I just live a nice, quiet life. I'm an animal advocate. I volunteer a lot, and I'm always angry.
Angry at who?
At the system, at the people that did this to my mother and father. It didn't have to be this way.
Around 1.5 million Americans are under guardianship right now. In Palm Beach County, there are nearly 3,000 cases with guardians controlling an estimated $1 billion in assets. A new Inspector General's review found that last year, guardians in Florida racked up more than $1 million in unverifiable expenditures.
Everything about this guardianship stuff is just wrong.
Dr. Sam Sugar is the founder of the group Americans Against Abusive Probate Guardianships and has written a book about guardian and conservator fraud.
It may be legal because a judge puts his signature on it, but at every step of the process, there is conflict of interest, there is the opportunity for corruption, the presence of massive amounts of lies, and it's just something that rubs me and so many others the wrong way.
Problem number one, he says, you don't need a special degree, certification, or even license to become a guardian in Florida. Just 1 week of training. Once in charge of a ward, guardians are required to submit an annual report to the court. But as Joan points out, that report typically includes just one bank statement. With greater oversight, she believes thieves like Lynrod Douglas would be caught sooner.
There are numerous protections.
Gina Rossi-Scheinman, executive director of the Florida State Guardianship Association, says fraud is rare, pointing out that the state revoked just 2 guardianship registrations last year due to alleged misconduct.
The clerks and the judges are vigilant. I know from being a guardian, vigilant in overseeing estates. It's not the outrageous racket that it appears to be in Hollywood.
But as the Webbers' real-life drama makes clear, it takes just one bad actor to do a great deal of damage.
What advice would you have for somebody so that they don't end up like your family did?
Oh, don't have any animosity in the family. Everybody make the agreements and get along, and do not, under any circumstances, get the courts involved.
The guardian in their case, Lynrod Douglas, appeared in court today, and he pleaded guilty to 15 counts, including money laundering, theft, and exploitation of the elderly. He could be sentenced anywhere from 25 to 220 years in prison. For the CBS 12 News I-Team, I'm Danielle Waugh.
If you have questions about what you just saw, starting tomorrow on CBS 12's Facebook page, we will be taking questions and connecting you with a local expert about guardianship and protecting our seniors. Just type in CBS 12 News on Facebook. And tomorrow night at 11, CBS 12 News Chief Investigator Mike Magnoli has an unsolved murder.
That's right. An 85-year-old woman found dead in her condo. Loved ones say she had figured out how her money was disappearing, possibly at the hands of the person who was given power of attorney. That story is tomorrow night at 11 o'clock, right here on CBS 12 News.
Tonight, a tale of 2 fathers and 2 families shattered by a bullet. One father is dead after an argument at a Starbucks drive-thru in Lake Worth Beach. Another father is accused of his murder. But what happened between them is complicated, Jim.
Yeah, Liz, so many questions tonight. Authorities have to decide, was this a case of murder or was it self-defense? CBS 12's Luli Ortiz spoke with a local attorney who says the gunman could have a case that he was defending himself. Luli?
In this police report, detectives have information from witnesses, surveillance video from nearby businesses here, plus the suspect's statements about why he fired those shots. A legal expert tells me this is easily a case of stand your ground.
Just 19 years old, Justin Boersma was out for a cup of coffee, but ends in front of a judge, facing murder charges.
First-degree murder with a firearm.
Boersma told Palm Beach County Sheriff's detectives he, his girlfriend, and their baby went to this Starbucks drive-thru off North Dixie Highway in Lake Worth Beach Wednesday afternoon. Witnesses say it appeared he cut in front of another car. The car's passenger, 31-year-old Samuel Rossetti of Palm Springs. They say Rossetti got out of his pickup and started banging on the couple's window while the infant's mother screamed, "There's a baby in the car." Rossetti pulled on the door handle and ripped it off before walking back to his pickup. Investigators say that's when Boersma took a gun from his car and shot Rossetti 3 times.
I think it's a case that's actually built for stand your ground law. It looks like a great case.
Patrick McCamey is a former homicide prosecutor, now criminal defense attorney in Palm Beach County.
The defense could reasonably argue that it's unreasonable to think that if he's not in fear for his life or the life of those in the vehicle, why would somebody with an infant in the car get out and start shooting?
Detectives will surely review the surveillance video, but what it won't reveal is what was being said.
Keep in mind, who was the primary aggressor? It was the decedent. He got out and approached the other vehicle, pounded on the window, ripped the door handle off, which is 100% a forcible felony.
He says the state would lean on witness testimonies. They can also argue consciousness of guilt. Why did Boersma leave the scene? He claims it was to call his lawyer before turning himself in.
It's a very simple answer why he fled the scene. The guy that was shot was the passenger. You don't know what the driver has in his possession. if he has firearms, if he's going to get out with a baseball bat and attack you.
Meantime, Rossetti leaves behind a family. His foster son tells CBS 12 News he wrote a children's storybook about dealing with an addict parent and teaching children that it is never their fault. The 19-year-old is charged with first-degree murder and remains in the Palm Beach County Jail without bond. His next court appearance is next month. In Lake Worth Beach, I'm Luli Ortiz, CBS 12 News.
The Palm Beach County School District is pushing back on a report by the Southern Poverty Law Center criticizing the district's use of the Baker Act. Last month, the center published a report making the case Florida overuses the Baker Act. Palm Beach County was highlighted as a case study with 4 out of 40 pages dedicated to that district. Well, county officials told us today that while there is room for improvement, the report ignored a lot of the changes the school district put in place after laws were passed following the shooting in Parkland, like hiring 30 more psychologists and adding a behavioral expert on every campus.
We're talking about life and death here. And these are important decisions that we take very seriously. You know, I'm getting chills here just talking about this because it's emotional. You know, when we're talking about it's serious issues, serious concerns, and of course we want to do it right. And is a Baker Act a traumatic experience for a child? Absolutely, but nothing's worth the cost of life.
The district is working on a policy with Baker Act experts. Next at 11, the first picture of Jeffrey Epstein's madam since her arrest last year, where Ghislaine Maxwell claims that bruise came from.
Plus, former President Trump's personal attorney speaking on camera for the first time since the FBI raided his office, what he says agents refuse to take.
And after a nice warm day out there with sun and clouds, we have a few spotty showers in the neighborhood, maybe a little overnight sprinkle, but tomorrow to kick off the weekend, more warm temperatures. I'm going to break it down for you and a look ahead to your weekend forecast coming up.
Breaking news at this hour. For the first time now, this released a picture of Jeffrey Epstein's madam, Ghislaine Maxwell. This is the first time we've seen her since her arrest last summer. One of Maxwell's lawyers released it, and you can see she has a black eye. Her lawyers say that it may be from using a sock or a towel to shield her eyes when the guard shines a light into her jail cell every 15 minutes to make sure she's alive. Maxwell's attorneys have been pretty vocal about what they call the harsh and unfair conditions while she's been in jail. Court has refused to give her bond on 4 different occasions.
Former President Donald Trump says Florida Governor Ron DeSantis would be considered as a 2024 running mate. Trump made the comments during an interview this morning on Fox News. He says he's thinking about another White House run and called DeSantis a friend and a great guy. Trump also says DeSantis has done a great job as Florida's governor, a job that Trump said he helped DeSantis win in 2018.
Former New York City mayor and personal attorney to President Trump, Rudy Giuliani, speaking for the first time since his home was raided. He denies any wrongdoing. He told Fox News that 7 agents showed up at his doorstep at 6 a.m. in the morning with a warrant for electronics. He says the agents took about a half dozen computers and devices, but they refused to take the 3 hard drives he had offered up as evidence.
The computer. I said, well, don't you want these? And they said, what are they? I said, those are Hunter Biden's hard drives. And they said, no.
The FBI executed that search warrant as part of a probe into Giuliani's dealings with the Ukraine.
And former President Trump also denounced the raids on Giuliani. Trump says Giuliani is the victim of a politically motivated Justice Department. He spoke with Fox News Business this morning.
You know, Rudy Giuliani is a great patriot. He does these things. He just loves this country. And they raid his apartment. It's like so unfair and such a it's like a double standard like I don't think anybody's ever seen before.
President Biden says he was not informed of the raid or search warrant ahead of time. Giuliani's role in pressuring Ukraine officials to investigate Biden and his family ahead of the 2020 election came under scrutiny during Trump's first impeachment on charges of abuse of power and obstruction of justice.
CBS 12 News has been telling you about the concerns over a recent algae bloom on Lake Okeechobee near the Pahokee City Marina. Well, at least 2 politicians now think it's the result of raw sewage in the water. The city's former mayor, J.P. Sasser, claims that for many years the marina had been deteriorating. He says that it's been documented that the sewer lines leaked, allowing sewage to spill into the water. He and Commissioner Melissa McKinley wonder if it's the reason for the toxic algae growth there now.
And you can see that this is a sewage problem, and it is a well-documented sewage problem.
If the water does test positive for sewage, Commissioner McKinley says the city should be held accountable. The cause of those algae blooms has been greatly debated. Some think it is partially the result of runoff from neighborhoods and nearby farms.
A man taking a swim in Vero Beach is in the hospital tonight after deputies say he was bitten by a shark at the Disney resort. Police say the man was in the water approximately 30 miles from shore, boogie boarding, when he was attacked by that shark. Luckily, fire rescue quickly brought the 54-year-old to a nearby hospital. We're told he's in stable condition at this time and expected to be okay.
All right, turning now to weather. Chief Meteorologist Phoetus Reed joining us tonight. And you know what? I saw your post last night. You got home just in time to see the rocket go up over on the Space Coast.
Yeah, I was a little concerned about going up in the elevator. It was just a few minutes.
I saw it just briefly.
I'm going to try to get there, but I did catch it. I'm glad you caught that, and I tried to post that also on our Facebook page for CBS 12. You can catch it there. But nonetheless, it looks like we're seeing relatively clear conditions out there. West Palm Beach Airport looking at PBI looking pretty good as flights have been coming in and out as we've been going through the evening hours. Looks like we do have a few showers off to the west, and we're seeing 74 degrees for our overnight low, partly cloudy, just that random shower possible as we go through the late evening hours. A little bit of activity coming over Lake Okeechobee here, just northwest up around Okeechobee County, getting a little bit of activity coming through Okeechobee. Indiantown may get a little bit of rain. Some of this will try to hold together, but it may break up before it gets here around parts of Palm Beach County. We'll continue to track that. So won't rule out a possible late shower, but it looks like those temperatures are in those mid-upper 70s. A few scattered clouds the further north you go. Jupiter looking at 78 degrees. Royal Palm at 78 degrees. Vero Beach coming in 78 degrees, 76 in Port St. Lucie. And we're seeing those temperatures that are going to pretty much hang around in those mid-70s as we go through the overnight. Okeechobee coming in at 74. Bigger picture here, our next weather maker is a couple of areas of low pressure that are kind of stalled out front. That's just kind of hanging around over parts of Tennessee Valley up into the New England states, looking at some decent rainfall moving into the D.C. metro up towards New York City and Boston, stretching down towards Texas on northeastern portions of Texas and Louisiana. Continued rain on and off as this is a very slow moving system, but this will slowly start to move our way as we get towards parts of the weekend, giving us a chance for some spotty showers. But until then, Friday afternoon looking pretty good. Partly sunny, hot temperatures in the upper 80s, low 90s. I'm going with about 90 degrees Okeechobee, 93 Belle Glade, 89 in Stewart, Jupiter 88 degrees, 89 down in Boca. Temperature wise, as we heat up through the day, it looks like we're going to see those temperatures getting pretty warm as we get into that late afternoon. Probably a chance for a few pop-up showers late afternoon with those temperatures in the mid-upper 80s, low 90s. So it looks like you want to keep an eye to the sky and keep an umbrella nearby just in case we do have those showers popping up. But low potentials, only about a 20% chance going in this weekend. So if you have anything going on outdoors, it shouldn't be too bad of a weekend to have it outdoors. But nonetheless, it will be hot as we see some areas getting up into those low 90s. And then also we have the chance for some pop-up showers on and off as this front gets a little closer, kind of hangs around as we go through the weekend on Saturday. Sunday it starts to move back north, but still with the heat and humidity remaining, we still have a potential for maybe a pop-up shower. Your weekend in view looks like this. Saturday and Sunday, we're looking at those temperatures upper 80s, only about a 20% chance for a passing shower. A beautiful weekend to enjoy the beach or the pool. I'll have a closer look at your 7-day forecast coming up.
Hubbard Radio Stations, proud sponsors of the CBS 12 News Network, the one to turn to. South Florida Honda Sports Report.
The Miami Dolphins select Jalen Waddle, wide receiver.
Reunited, and it feels so good. Tua Tagovailoa smiling ear to ear at this 6th overall pick tonight for his Dolphins. With all the questions surrounding Tua Tagovailoa this offseason, was he the right pick? Is he truly the QB of the future? Who better to pick at number 6 than his former offensive weapon at Alabama? Jalen Waddle is going to look great in aqua and orange. That is, if you can see him. Hopefully his speed will make him look like an aqua and orange blur most of the time, likely to become the Dolphins' slot receiver this upcoming season. As mentioned, Waddle joins his former college quarterback in South Florida, something he could not be more excited about. He hopes they make them both better.
it goes both ways. He's gonna make me better, and I'm gonna make him better, and we just gonna push each other and try to get better each and every day. I get a lot of comparisons to Tyreek just because our small size and being able to be a runner, but I want to be, my own player.
The Miami Dolphins select Jaelan Phillips.
Jaelan Phillips not taking his talents to South Florida. He's keeping his talents here. He's staying here. The former Hurricane defensive end is now a Dolphin. He was one of the best pass rushers in the 2021 draft, someone who can definitely keep opposing quarterbacks honest. The Dolphins sprinkle a touch of defense into their first-round picks, and he could not be happier.
Man, words can't even describe how I feel right now. I mean, it's literally like an out-of-body experience. But, I'm just so grateful for Miami as a city. They embraced me when I came into the U, and they've supported me for the last 2 years of my journey. And so there's no place I'd rather be, man. Back to the 305. This is crazy, man. I'm so excited.
The Jacksonville Jaguars select Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, one of the biggest no-brainers in the NFL draft tonight. The Jacksonville Jaguars, of course, picked Clemson QB Trevor Lawrence first overall to start the night. Lawrence said he never dreamt of this moment as a little kid, but every Jags fan's dream came true tonight.
This event definitely ranks as one of the more special moments in our county's rich sports history.
There's Executive Director of the Palm Beach County Sports Commission today, George Lindley, making the official announcement at the ballpark of the Palm Beaches. The final Olympic baseball qualifier will be held there and at Clover Field in Port St. Lucie. Former Marlins pitcher Livan Hernandez there showing off his arm. There he is to celebrate a bit. The U.S. will be in action this coming June, along with Canada, Colombia, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Dominican Republic, and Nicaragua. Second and third place teams will advance to the final qualifier in Taiwan. Yeah, look at this ending to an incredible district title baseball game tonight in Palm Beach Gardens. Jaden Hilton, 3-run home run in the bottom of the 11th inning. You know what that means? Walk-off. The ultimate walk-off to win it all. Both teams played a gutsy baseball game, but it's the Gators winning the District 10 Class 7A title. Congratulations to the Gators.
Thanks, John. Well, college athletes in Florida were tossed a bit of a curveball this week. The law allowing them to profit off their name, image, and likeness may be delayed by a full year. Coaches and athletes have been all over social media today expressing their disappointment and their anger. That provision calling for the delay was actually slipped into another bill by a state senator out of St. Augustine. Claims he did it for the athletes, says that they may be banned by playing on a national level. However, the NCAA recently agreed to support athletes getting paid.
Be sure to stay tuned to The Late Show with Stephen Colbert right after CBS 12 News at 11. We'll be right back.
If you see breaking news happen or have a news tip, call the CBS 12 News tip line at 561-881-0796.
Kickoff to the weekend, we're going to see very nice warm temperatures, upper 80s, low 90s across the area. About a 20% chance for a late afternoon shower, but we're looking at more sun than anything. Saturday, Sunday, much of the same. Only a 20% chance for a passing afternoon shower. Mid, upper 80s. Early next week, we're holding those 80s with a shower here and there. Back to you.
A dispute between two neighbors in rural Michigan leads to the construction of a 250-foot-long wall of number 2. The wall is actually a cow manure compost fence, and it was built last year after the two neighbors had a dispute over the property line. The farm originally belonged to one of the neighbors' grandfather, but it was later divided into two properties. After the argument, his neighbor decided to put up that smelly reminder of a wall to divide the properties.
Yep, and I'm proud to say I'm from Michigan. Wear boots. That's all I say when you go.
There you go. Wear boots.
Build that wall. There you go. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Don't forget to tune in and watch Ashley Glass and Matt Lincoln tomorrow morning on CBS 12 News. This morning, it starts at 4:30 a.m.
Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.